Talk about men against boys, you know what I mean? I'm talking about Newcastle versus Aston Villa because that game was more than interesting. Trust me, it's more interesting than a lot of movies. um, Yesterday in my preview, I'm always going back to my preview because I'm actually getting this right, because I said in my preview that goals used to come from the midfield. When you're talking about Newcastle, you don't have to watch out for all their striker. You have to watch out for what their midfield can produce by themselves. We have players like Tolani. I don't know if the guy has so much goals in him, but I know Gumares has goals in him. I was betting on the midfield to score yesterday, but I didn't really know the midfield was good in transition, the fast transition, just like what they did against Tottenham last season. They were just, every time they had the ball and they were in attack, they were looking like they were going to score all their chance. Because when you have players like Isak that are playing in the wing last season, is fluid. Amiron is fluid. Gordon is fluid. They are not really staying in, let me stick to my position, let me play out wide, let's just leave the striker in the middle, probably we try and cross. No. When they are defending the attack, they move back because Aston Villa was pressing high. I think that was the architect of their failure. They were pressing too high, and when Newcastle had the ball, their transition was very, very fast, too much for Aston Villa to handle. When you want to press high, I think you need to have good plan. Who is your defenders? Can they run? Can they cover space? Who are your fullbacks? Because defenders are not really that fast. Historically, defenders are not really the one blessed with speed, but probably your fullback can help close down the striker running or any forward running mark, but they didn't have that in them yesterday, and they allowed Newcastle to run riot, because that game could be 5, that game could be 6, that game could have been 7-1, could have been 8-1. But I really feel sorry for Watkins because he had a good game, dribbling, firing shots, it didn't lead to anything, and Diaby had a very good first game. Although he won't like the way the game has ended, but he had a very good first game. I think he will be in Aston Villa for a very long time for another big team snatch him up. What I was saying about Eddie yesterday, the coach of Newcastle, like his scouting, his talent ID is always on point. He's just buying player pieces by pieces. He knows what he wants. If he sees this player, he knows that this player can work for me, this player can do what I want. And I know he will be very pleased with Isak, because this is a guy that can play as a 9. He can play as a winger. Anywhere you want him in the forward line, I think he's going to produce. On the other hand, I don't think Unai Emery is going to be pleased with what he saw from his boys. I think it's one thing for you to give your players information, is another thing for them to execute it properly, and I think the players did a very poor job yesterday. They are not supposed to concede 5, but when the game was 3-1, hopes were down, they were just sluggish. Some of them were just trying shots just to see what could happen, and there you have it, Wilson and Advance. This guy just came in and they just killed the game off. It's very sad for Aston Villa to lose that way on the first day of the season after a very wonderful campaign last season, towards the end of last season. Things are not really looking good for Aston Villa, but let's see if they can turn things all around. As for Newcastle, I think they will be contesting for the Premier League first choice this season properly. But let's not forget, European competition can distract you. I'm not saying Newcastle as a team that really has a lot of depth. They are just this kind of team that when their starting 11 are on the pitch, they can make magic happen. But without their starting 11, I don't know what they will look like. But kudos to Eddie. He's doing a very good job in Newcastle.